Hello guys, how are we doing and welcome back to the channel. Today I have another Help with Harrz episode where I review subscribers' gameplays to hopefully make them better COD players. Today I'm reviewing Michael Rosito, or Mike Roswin, who plays on a new gen console, and they want to know how to be a little bit more aware when they're moving around the map. We're going to be a little bit focused on today how to have better map awareness generally, and read the map a little bit better. So we're going to be touching on a little bit of spawns, we're going to be touching on how to, think in the enemy's mind, and that's what it's all pretty much going to be. But obviously we're going to review the gameplay, and anything I notice, anything real small I notice, I'm going to pick out as well. The gameplay is going to be on Karachi Hardpoint. So if any of the things I've mentioned so far tickle your fancy, this video is going to be for you. If you find Karachi Hardpoint a little bit of a struggle of a map, this is going to be great. If you're not sure how to read the map properly, again, this is going to be great for you. So we're going to go through the form that they submit. If you want to submit a form yourself, there's a link down in the description. If you are a channel member, you will get priority. And when I say that, it's like a tier 1 channel member, currently at 6 members. So if you're one of those 6, you're going to get priority. In any case, we're going to read through this form, go through the gameplay in fine detail, and then we're going to do a little bit of a conclusion at the end, giving the player an expected rank where I see them sitting by the end of this year, or maybe into the beginning of Black Ops 6 when rank play hopefully drops relatively soon after release. So let's kick it off with a form. They play on a new gen console. They play 40 hours a week, which sort of gives me the idea that they put a lot of time into the game. They're happy to grind it, and they're hopefully willing to watch this video and learn a little bit more from it. The current rank is D3. Highest rank so far is D3, so they can't quite get over that Crimson Ridge to get to that state yet. So let's see if this can hopefully help them get there. They play on a 6.6 with a 0.9 cents, FOV of 103, so the settings are perfect. Setup details, they have a pretty stacked setup for a PS5, so that's going to be perfect. And then what would you like me to focus on in your gameplay? Reading spawns and where to look when nothing is happening. Better overall map awareness. So that's going to be my main focus in today's video. But they also say they randomly lose gunfights when they should be able to win them. Patience to hold something and wait for teammates to push something. Not sure if I'm selfishly not touching time to get cuts, or is it kill whoring and not helpful for the team. So we're going to touch on those things as I notice them, but my main focus is going to be how to read the map, because it's going to make it so much easier. I've had a look, you're an AR player on this map, it's going to be way easier for you to do your role. It's going to make it look like it's people are just running into your iron sights, because you're going to read the map so well hopefully after this. So Karachi Hardpoint, as I say, let's kick it off and see what we notice. So instantly, what I want to try and highlight here is that the main spawns, I don't want to overcomplicate this. Okay, there are many spawns, but the main spawns are sort of in this general vicinity and in this general vicinity. Okay, the enemy are going to be spawning here, you're spawning over here. Now, there's 3 main routes they get to the hill: middle, through red, or through market, sort of top third area. Now, there are veins coming off those things, so I get, yep, they can go red, but they can go top or bottom red. So that's 2 things there. Middle is pretty much one line, but on this left here, they can go top third, they can go through market to hit beige. There's a few ways we've got to watch here, but you seem to be covering this left hand side here towards red, which is great because P2 is actually here. So you've got to bear that in mind as well. When it gets to the end of P1, you've got to put yourself into the enemy's head thinking, okay, I need to rotate early. I'm an AR player. The enemy team are going to be rotating probably through red, because that's the most direct route from their spawn to P2. And as a result, that sort of needs to be in the back of your head when it gets to later on into P1. But let's see how we play this out. Let's see how we decide to defend this somewhat. Yeah, I don't mind that stun. The stun would have been great there because you would hopefully meet someone here, but unfortunately hit this. A follow-up nade is great. Doesn't hit anyone, so you think it's free. Okay, fine. Now, there's a couple of things I want to mention there, which will hopefully help. But as an AR player, you want to make sure your engagements are long. Okay, you want to make sure that obviously they had a sub, which is perfect because they were pushing red. If you're pushing red, you should have a sub because it's real close engagements. You want to be a little bit more free with your movement, and you want to be able to shoot ADS quicker and kill quicker, and the SMGs will do that better than MCW. So if you are taking the route you're taking there, I'd perhaps recommend having a rival out initially, just because the habitat you find yourself here in red allows for quick, fast killing engagements, which you're going to get from a rival 9 or a striker rather than the MCW. But if you did want to hold red with an MCW, I'd recommend taking a route up to the ladder, through satellite, through this little bit here, top yellow, to satellite. And then what you can do, you can lay down and look through the windows into top red. You can stand up and then peer out of, top AC there, looking down towards the bus. So you can sort of cover the exits from red from here using a little bit of a longer line of sight. And you'd have probably killed that player. They'd have probably got your top red eventually, and you'd have got that free kill. And then you'd have been able to turn your attention onto P1 from up there as well. So that's a little bit of a better route to take to get, red control with an AR. I get if you're Nate, if you're stun hit, you'd have probably read that and you'd have probably killed them. But even so, the striker's a demon of a gun. It kills really quickly. But it's fine. I don't mind what you're doing here. You can just notice your teammates fallen in their spawn, in your spawn. But it's fine. Your teammate's still spawning in. There's 25 seconds left. So as I said at the beginning, your teammate's still spawning here. The enemy's spawning here. So any sort of kills you get are going to be fairly obvious. So your teammate's spawning here, which means the enemy team is spawning here. And we're, as I say, we're very conscious of the time. There's 26 seconds left. So in the back of your mind, you need to be sort of thinking, okay, I don't want to commit myself fully towards P1. For example, I don't want to be running around to top third and killing P1 because it leaves the route all the way through to P2 really easy. So you do want to make sure you maintain red control, especially at this point, because their quickest route from spawn to P2 is through red, through scrap, and that general direction. But yeah, let's see how we play this. Okay, not bad gunfight. It's a little bit smoky. You're aiming at a red diamond. I don't mind that. A follow-up nade or stun would have probably been better, but hey, it is what it is. You played your life. I like that. I'm not quite liking how quickly we're running this down. Yeah, so I sort of expected that to happen simply because there's very little time left. And by the way, in that kill cam, you've heard doors slam, which tells you that this player isn't the only player here. So you're looking for 2, maybe 3 players around this general area. Maybe 2 because you've got 1 on the hill and then 1 who cleared your teammate in spawn. So yeah, maybe 2, let's say 3, just to be safe. You'd always want to overestimate the number of enemies you've got. But yeah, in any case, you've got to sort of expect them rotating because, as I say, put yourself in their shoes. That's the best way to read the enemy right now. If you know there's 20 seconds left to P1, P2 is literally popping in 15 seconds. The enemy team is spawning here. Which way would you run to rotate to the hill? Through red. And if you've got no defense towards red, they're going to run straight through it, get to P2. You're going to be stuck behind this wall, and you're going to be, it's going to be pretty hard for you to have any impact on the hill. So yeah, map awareness. I'm saying, the spawns are quite simple. P1. You should have just looked at the time and been like, okay, would I be rotating now, or should I at least account for them rotating? And the answer to that is yes. But another way you can have a little bit of map awareness there, you know there's 2 players there now. You heard the door bash, you saw the kill cam, and it wasn't that player opening the doors, so you're looking for 2 players here. Luckily, you've spawned quite close, but yeah, this is great. There's pre-aiming, you know where they are, you know they're sort of in the vicinity. That's real bad timing. That's real bad timing. Now, what I'm thinking has gone through your head. The hill has popped, and nobody is in it. So the hill's popped, your teammate's not directly on it. You're aware they're not on it because these are solos. I mean, you're solo queuing here. And I was like, you've gone like, crap, I need to get on the hill. It's my responsibility. Let me just do it. But you're holding such a vital line of sight here for your line of sight is better than their line of sight. If anyone is to give up a line of sight, it should be them. And you need to be really selfish, especially if you're solo queuing. This is the line of sight you want to hold. Now, the reason it's more important is because P1 has just finished here, and we didn't clear them off P1. They still had P1. So the most direct route from P1 to P2 is, through vending up to top AC maybe, or into red and then to drop down. And you also know that if they're coming from this side of the map, a route they can take is through bottom red, they can go top red. The only way this player is getting kills if people decide to run all the way through tickets and then round to the back. Whereas you've got to cover every single one of these options just like that. So that's why I'm saying your line of sight is way more valuable than theirs at this point, because they have to rotate from P1. And as a result, you should have read, just be a little bit more patient. Yeah, you recovered yourself. That's fine. You sort of knew you missed that player. But again, it just meant that your indecisiveness probably meant that you missed that player and they just got through quite freely. Nice. I like this route. I'd have been horrified if you went bottom yellow. This is nice. You've got height on the team. Okay, we've just noticed a player on the mid as well. So I don't know if you saw that. There was also a player middle. So I get your eyes would have been locked into this player here, which is fine. Nice. Okay, we're looking for player middle, but it's not fun. I don't mind this. So this is actually a real nice play. You're spawning here. The enemy team are spawning, I think it's about here. In any case, this side of red. The common route they're going to push is bottom. So this is a really nice hold. So let's see how this plays out. Nice. This is perfect. We're progressing to P3. The enemy team, that player should spawn out. What's interesting to note is where your teammate spawns. And he spawned with you. So what does that tell you? That tells you any kills you get now will spawn the enemies back here, meaning that they're going to rotate to P3 now. Because realistically, how long's left? There's 15 seconds left. They're spawning here. They're not exactly going to run to the hill and get the time with their teammates. I mean, they can do. They're more likely to rotate to P3. And again, there are 3 main ways they can get to P3. They either go through red, go through middle, or go around the left-hand street here, B Street. So we want to be picking one of them things up at least. But yeah, that's perfect. Good rotation out of you there. Okay, I don't mind this, but we're giving so much up. Okay, so there's no way they would be right here at this point. Okay, they've just hit the hill. They've died. You've spawned your teammates here. The enemy team is spawning here. Based on how long it takes them to get to here, you don't need to worry about them. Okay, you need to make up some ground here. So if this were me in this position and you wanted to watch this left-hand side, I would have much earlier gone to top third, gone up to the top and just watched this line of sight down the left-hand side here, because they would be running out of spawn to get to the new hill and you'd be picking up some free kills. But what that also means is you're taking on the gunfight from here. Oh, that's an awful X. You're taking the gunfight from here, meaning that they will have to be, I mean, they could be there, they could be top here, I guess they could be middle. But in essence, you're taking a gunfight here, meaning that when you spawn back in, yeah, I mean, you'd probably spawn behind them anyway, to be fair, but you're taking the gunfight early on rather than waiting for the gunfights to come to the hill, meaning that if you die, then they just get, the control of the hill. So you want to sort of make ground, bring the gunfight to them, especially when you know where they're coming from. Nice pickup. You've got a couple more coming that way because those that are spawning out. And your teammate's done exactly what I would do. Get top broken control. Okay, I don't mind this. I would like to see a nade thrown to your left here just to stop them, deter them coming through, but I'm not too worried. Okay. A lot of map awareness is just knowing where people are coming from, okay? And a lot of the time you need to use your ears. So whenever you hear someone shot, whenever you know your teammates just died, you need to know exactly where they've died from, especially if you're solo queuing. So from that info, your teammates just died, there was a red dot on the right here, but you also know there's people coming from the left. So you're in a real sticky predicament now where you need to try and, they're pinching you, so you need to play a little bit more cleverly here. Let's see how you play this. So for those of you who don't know, this wall is wallbangable, so if there's ever someone behind this desk and you can't quite kill them from the front, you can get in here and wallbang this wall and you'll be able to kill them. Really nice play though, what you're doing here. Yep, help your teammate out. I don't mind this whatsoever. Nice, and now you can approach the till together. So that's a real nice play. Fundamentally sound, I'd say. Okay. So I like everything you're doing here. The only thing that I'm struggling with is where your teammates are wandering off to. None of them are helping, and I don't mind that because fundamentally there's 10 seconds left. But I've reiterated this before, but on P4, there's not really a best spawns to have, realistically. You've either got like market spawns or you've got back van spawns, and either one's not great because the whole hill is really open. So it's a really scrappy hill. You're not going to get much time from either side, really. But the bonus of having this spawn this side is that when P5 pops, you can clearly see which one's better. So you want to really try and maintain, and P5 is a money hill. That is a hill you really want to keep control of, and you want these close spawns here rather than these spawns for P5. So yeah, personally, you really want to be fighting for these market spawns through P3, 4, and 5 because they're way better. You're going to get way more map control from this side. So yeah, I think your teammates have decided to rotate all the way around to P4, whereas yeah, they probably shouldn't have, but it is what it is. I don't mind what you're doing there though, to be honest. You were clearing the ground, I like that. But now I'm interested to see what route we take. Good kill, nice gunfight. So your teammates are spawning with you pretty much. So the main spawns are back here, and there's like a rogue spawn here. Okay, if those two are blocked, but the main spawns are here and here, and you'll spawn here if these two are blocked. So this tells you the fact that you've spawned here, your teammates spawned there, tells you that the enemy sort of pushed through a little bit, but they're also at the spawn you sort of want to try and get. But yeah, I can't emphasize enough. It's never too early to fight for these market spawns ready for P5, because this spawn is a crap hill to try and get hill time out of anyway. So yeah. So don't mind this. You're checking things. Yeah, you've jumped out there. You didn't need to. Okay, so you saw them, and you could have just taken a real clean angle there, but I think you've ego-chowed massively and are hoping you'd get the kill, and as a result you've died. You don't need me to tell you that what you needed to do there instead of swinging out is just back up, hold a pre-aim, maybe lay down so you've got a little bit less of your body showing, and just beam them. You don't need to jump out like this. Your ADS is slow when you jump, your accuracy is slower when you jump, it's just not ideal. He saw you. In COD, if you see them, chances are they've seen you, okay? Okay, this is fine. It's a scrappy hill. As I say, I don't expect anyone to get much hill time out of this. I fear we're rotating. Yeah, they're playing it really well. So I assume that play is the reason we spawned here in the first place. Oops. But yeah, in any case, as I'm saying, P4, even if P4's got 3 seconds left, okay, you want to push through P4 into market so that you can hopefully get these back spawns for when P5 pops. It is never too late. As I say, I'll try and re-emphasize this enough to so many people. In order to get the spawn and get the most hill time for the hill, you don't rotate to the hill, you rotate to the spawn that anchors the hill. So in this example, when P5 is up, there are 3 spawns. Okay, I'm going to this bit of a lesson. There's 3 spawns. There's one back here, which is a really nice spawn. Look how close it is to P5. And from here, you've got a lot of cover. You can sit behind any of these things looking in that general direction. There's then also another spawn, which is just here, which you could say, okay, that's a little bit closer. So that would be a little bit more favorable, I guess. But in order to get there, you've got to jump out of either top bedroom or come out of bottom red. Both have 0 cover. There's no headies, and it's a real easy way to die. If someone's sat on headies back here looking that way, they're probably going to be guaranteed to kill, which is why this spawn is best. But the reason why this spawn is best, not because of anything I've said, is because if someone on this team who's spawning here, let's do these different colors, let's not confuse things. So this is teal, and let's say this would be the regular spawn for the players coming this way, okay? But let's say someone on the teal team, you know, you've got someone sat up here, you've got someone sat on hill, but let's say someone pushes up into red from this teal team. The green spawns are no longer the normal spawns for this side. They become the back spawns back here, meaning that this player here then has to run all the way around, whether they go this way or this way, over towards the hill. And look how long distance that is to the actual hill itself, because someone in teal got into red. It is that simple. And as a result, you seriously want to fight for these teal spawns back here, where my cursor is, through P3, P4, and P5, because it's great for P3. It's okay for P4. It doesn't matter for P4, but neither spawns are good for P4, so it is what it is. But you may as well fight for it because it's amazing for P5. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to emphasize here. Whereas if you end up, what I feel like you're doing here is you're trying to rotate just to this side of P5 on out. You're not going to run through the building, but let's say you do this. Which means that the enemy teams still have these spawns, meaning that you're then going to have the potential of spawning out. So I'm fearful that that's what's happening, and I really want to emphasize you want to rotate to the anchor spawn rather than the hill itself. It's a common mistake I see people make, but yeah, it is what it is. So something that really helps map awareness is looking at the map. And I know this sounds really obvious, but I'm not seeing it done here, so I'm pointing it out. When you spawn in, generally speaking, you've got a few seconds where you've got space before an enemy comes into you, especially when you're spawning really deep like here. If you press the scoreboard button, press R1 or R right bumper, depending on if you're an Xbox or PlayStation controller, and look at the overall map. It's even, to be fair, it's hard for me to have map awareness even watching this because you're not showing me the whole map. A massive part of my gameplay and a lot of higher level player gameplays is they look at the TAC map to see where every single one of the players are, and that tells you where the enemy aren't and therefore where the enemy are. So you'd bring up the TAC map and you'd see, okay, maybe you've got, I mean, P4's live, so let's make it a little bit similar here. You've got a player running down here. You've got a player who seems to be in red, but you're not quite sure, so you'd have to guess they're there. But you've got, and then, you know, there's a player who's just going to probably spawn in behind you when they spawn in, and then you're say here. So from this, I'm assuming this is what it would look like based on what I'm seeing here, but it's hard to tell without actually doing it. So yeah, my main tip, do that when you die and spawn in, because it gives you an overview of the map and you can see where the enemy aren't and where your teammates are, and then you've got a little bit more knowledge than you did from not doing that, because you don't really have much knowledge here. But from here, you can see, okay, the teammates have got fairly decent control of burgers of this side here. You don't really need to preem too much there. You can run through that pretty simply. But my teammate doesn't have much control of red. Red's a little bit of a complicated situation. They could be top red, they could be bottom red, and I'm not sure where my teammates are. So I need to be a little bit more careful there. But we have no control of middle, so there's nothing stopping an enemy run down here, so I need to be careful of that. And we've got no one, you know, covering the actual new hill itself, so they could be fully set up here. That's the info you're not getting. I mean, this is under presumption because I can't see your TAC map, but I'm assuming from where your teammates are, that's what it is. But the easiest way to get map awareness is to look at the full map whenever you can, and that's usually when you die because you've got some space. Yeah, I don't mind this. You got here for free. Your teammates just spawn in the back. Okay, whatever the enemy's done there has severely milked them. So your teammate has spawned just back. Did he spawn there? Oh no, he rotated there. Okay, this player here, who I thought was in red, was actually in the depths of the new spawn, which is, there. That little, I can't see it, it's on the left now. But this player here, absolutely massive play. He's great play, to be honest. He's stopping the teammates who are spawning here. They understand that the enemy team are spawning here, and in order to get to P5, they're going to rotate through the back. So he's playing a really cruddy corner here, making sure they can't take that back control. So absolutely massive play out of them. Kudos to them. That's what I'd love the whole team to be doing. But yeah, in any case, really like what they're doing. SW Silly, I believe their name is. Shout out to them for that's a big brain play. Yeah, and you're providing your teammates some support. I'd like to see a nade thrown or a stun thrown because it's going to alleviate some pressure and clear those red dots. They look bloody awful. Okay. Nice. Your teammates just spawned in, but you can't tell how far they've spawned in. Now, the reason I want to know how far they've spawned into you, right, is because if they've spawned over here, it means an enemy is pinching you in top red, okay? But if they've spawned just here, it means you're fine, you're clear from red. So spending like 2 seconds to flick to that TAC map to see where your teammate has just spawned in will tell you if there's anyone pinching you in this general vicinity over here, okay? So yeah, that's what I'd have liked to see a little bit more. Again, that'd increase your map awareness. Yeah, so your teammate did spawn quite far out because there was an enemy in red, but you would have known that if you'd have checked, yeah. So you're spawning all the way back here, which means an enemy teammate, or an enemy, just don't have to say teammate, is somewhere in the vicinity of this side of the hill. But yeah, all the effort your teammate did to try and guarantee that spawn and play unfortunately failed because we weren't aware of where your teammate spawned because we weren't looking for it. Good read out of them. They're playing new. So when P1 pops, you really need a lot of control here. So in an ideal situation, when P1 pops, you want top third control, top church control would be great, top red control, top AC control. You want height over the hill so the enemy team can't get to it easily. And especially if you don't have P5, you want to sort of take time to set up in those positions, making sure the enemy team can't get to the hill, complete the first wave of kills from those real high positions, and then send one person to the hill. That's an ideal situation. And if you don't have P5, there's no excuse for you to not be able to set up like that. If you've yeah, if you don't have P5 and you're not here, it's because you either didn't rotate too early or you lost P5 way too late into its hold. Nice, this is a good route, a route I'd have liked to have seen you take beforehand. Good kill, shots were a bit windy, but I'm not going to concentrate on that too much. Okay, they were good shots, but were we fully healed? Yeah, we're fully healed. They just had really good shots. Kudos to them. That's why I don't like that area so much. Well, after you've shot in there for so long, there's not really any cover, and you've got to really expose yourself to take on a gunfight. So if you're ever in broken or in secret, whatever you want to call it, get out of it as soon as you get a kill, because it's just going to cause you an issue. Nice little spot. Nice, that's 4 down. There's a 2.5 second spawn delay, so they won't come immediately. But again, we've got a lot of focus on this side of the map. And I like what you're doing. I'm not sure what your teammates are doing. Solid kill, pick up the striker, because you may as well. That's what I'd have done. That way you then have a sub. Okay, nice play. This is actually a real good play. You know where your team, the enemy is spawning. You're playing the cutoffs. I'm not sure you haven't picked up the striker yet because you're in real close range engagements. You're playing bottom red. It'd be handy to have a striker. Nice use of a trophy to hold your position. Yeah, what you were doing was there great. I'm assuming that when you said you're holding the cuts, not getting the hill, I'm assuming this is the bit you meant. Your teammates are on the hill. They need to do their job. They can sit on heady and just watch a line of sight. You are being the first blocker out of the enemy spawn, so I don't want to critique that so much. That's a real good play out of you. You made it difficult for the enemy team to get to the hill. You at least had 2 of them. You had 2 of them, you know, held out into their spawn. So yeah, I've got to commend that. Credit where it's due. That was a good play from you. It's just a shame your teammates didn't win the gunfights they needed to on the hill. Okay. So this player's just died. 1, 2, 3. Okay, they'd have spawned at new. Okay. And where they would have spawned is your teammates have pushed quite far up. They'd have probably spawned about here, because you've just spawned here and your teammates are all over that, so they're not going to spawn back here. They're not going to spawn there. So, you know, yeah, understanding the timing of when your enemy dies and where they're going to spawn, you should have sort of read someone relatively close. But I imagine what you read was that they'd have spawned here and gone, okay, let me help our old. But no, they've gone, okay, they've spawned up, there's 25 seconds left. By the time I get to the hill, there's going to be 10 seconds or 15 seconds most. I may as well sit and hold the rotate, which you can't blame them for. It's a good play out of them. They've got you killed here. But I'm just trying to get you to think about how they're going to be thinking for you to hopefully read them better going forward. Yeah, those 2 have just died. 1, 2. Yeah, they're probably going to spawn on that player now. Again, it's always worth watching the kill cam. Turns out they didn't. So it's always worth watching the kill cam. Again, for the info. Now, you say you don't have as much map awareness as you want, but you're not giving yourself the free information that's super easy to get. Reading spawns is one thing, but watching the kill cam, looking for the blue dots through the walls, is a super easy way to see where the enemy are without even having to use your brain. You just have to watch a kill cam. That and using your attack map are 2 real simple things I'm going to try and ask you to do going forward at the end, just to like give yourself a massive boost in map awareness. It's going to help you tremendously. Nice kills. So what's happened here, you've spawned relatively close. Now on P2, as I've said before, spawns are here or here. So the enemy team now are going to be spawning back here, and you can tell they haven't really fought for the old hill. Your teammate's still on it. So chances are they've rotated either through this left-hand side here, or they've gone through mid. So it's very, I want to see a little bit of emphasis towards these 2 areas here, and try and make a little bit of ground up, similar to what we did last time on P3, because that was fairly decent. Nice trade from your teammate. Okay, your teammate's just spawned on the left, so they potentially could have spawned behind people. That doesn't mean they're not coming there. Oh no, he wouldn't have spawned. He spawned really close. No, he did. He spawned with people, yeah. Thought so. Okay. I'm not sure we didn't like this. Okay, so I like this play so far, but I'd have liked to have seen you just challenge it or gone deeper. Because what you've done here, you've waited time, you're still hesitating, and you know you've lingered long enough for them to regain health, and then they've just killed you. That's fine, good play out of them. You're still not out of the game yet. Still fairly even. I don't think anything's been too drastic, but what I'm noticing is we've got really good spawns for P4, P5, so I'm really hoping we try and take control of that. Now, that's a really risky play. As you move up the map, no matter how guaranteed you think you are, it's always worth spending a couple of seconds checking whether or not it's clear. An easy way to do this from this position is to get into the storage just on your left, where my cursor is, looking through the windows, looking over here, looking into the hill, and just see if there's a really easy kill just waiting for you. Yeah, what you did here was a little risky. I get you thought you were clear from the stun, but you didn't account for the person who was clearly sat on the hill. Like, you may as well check. There is, you know, I know seconds add up. I'll get back to that in a second. If you want to make that jump, an easy way to do that is to get to the height here. That you can see how this ledge goes a little bit higher. If you jump from here to that corner, you'll make it. You just didn't quite get to that height before doing that. That's why you missed it. But yeah, in any case, you want to try and make sure that. I lost what I was going to say. I think what I was trying to say is you want to make sure you're checking things, because you may as well check. If you check and they're not there, hey ho, here's what it is. If you check and they're there, great, it's a free kill. Nice. This is the route I want to see you take. These spawns back market are, as I say, I put a lot of emphasis on it, so I don't want to bang on about it a lot. But paying for these spawns back market are going to help you in the next hill, which cost you a fair amount of hill time last time. What doesn't help is when your teammates are pushing white van. But if they are pushing white van and you're here, it tells you they're spawning like the other to the right of church. Yeah, down there. But you've got no teammates pushing you from the right. Your teammates are trying to pick people off. You have a nade. Yeah, so the enemy team are going to be spawning back white. They're going to be spawning P4's up. They're going to be spawning back here. Okay. So they're gonna you're overextended massively here looking for this player. Chances are they're either behind the barrels, just behind here, or under the market here. So that's where they're going to be, or behind the car. You've checked left, you've checked here, and you're still sort of looking for them. As a simple way is to just throw a nade and see, like, throw a nade over here. If it gets a hit mark, you know they're like on this left side. If it doesn't, you know they're on the right. It's fairly that simple, but you've overextended massively here. You're no longer on a head glitch. And when this enemy jumps out of satellite, they've got an absolutely free kill on you. But again, use your Semtex, man. Okay, I want to see you following the hill. Reach, you know, almost getting the kill that just killed you. Like, trade yourself, follow that through, and yeah. Nice cuts. Unfortunately, your teammates have died in the back. You've left one teammate alone. Potentially going to die. Nice. Okay, you can hold the hill from this side. It's just not as easy. Don't overextend. You don't need to overextend. Let them come to you. They've got to get to the hill. Didn't need to reload. You had 7 bullets in the mag. Again, still 11 bullets in the mag. Good effort. Good effort. There was a lot of times there where you put yourself out the gunfight. You reloaded with a combination of 18 bullets in the magazine out of 2 reloads, and you didn't really need to. But it's fine. You give them the last 10 seconds if they want it. Focus on getting the map control. I do not want to see you jumping down right there. Okay, you notice that player. Hey, we didn't need to ego chow that. I'm seeing it a lot in this, to be fair. We know where a player is. They clearly know where we are, and you're just flying at them. It's not the sensible choice. They're going to be pre-aiming. You've got a pistol. The best thing to do here is just to watch their jump up. Like, the only way they can really get up is... I can't remember which side it is. It's one of these sides, but just pre-aim their jump up. They're going to be mantling. It's going to be a free kill. Or throw a stun. You know exactly where they are. Bounce the stun off the brick wall. Throw a nade. Get them weak, and then challenge them. You just challenge the... You've made a gunfight that's in your favor, no longer in your favor. You've just jumped out. You've got no cover. You've gone through a horrible drop animation. They're covered by this weird little laundry line. And yeah, you've put yourself in a massive disadvantage where you had the advantage going into the gunfight.
1 minute remaining. Hardpoint relocated.
So when you're looking at the scoreboard, that's not adding any value. Realistically, all you're going to do is get yourself annoyed, or you're going to feel like you're not doing enough for your team, so you're going to want to try more and you're going to try different things. It adds no value looking at the scoreboard. It only brings the blame culture in, which you really don't want. If you're doing that, you may as well press R1 or right bumper and check the whole score and check the whole map. It takes the same amount of time. Yeah. Nice gunfight. How long is left of this hill? Okay, 30 seconds. That was a fairly decent shoot. I don't mind that. Just got 2 kills. It saved a little bit of pressure. Okay, so you know where 2 are. You've got the player in red because you know that's where they are, and the player on time. You have a stun and a nade. It's a 3 versus 2 or a 2 versus 2 on this point, and you know where both of them are. They have no idea where you are. This is a great chance to, while the enemy team are, watching their kill cams or spawning in, throw a stun and a nade into red, block them off, and then just challenge the hill. Yeah, if we waited a little bit too long there, but hey, it is what it is. Hopefully got the new rotation here. A good setup at P2 and a solid rotation at P3, you're absolutely gravy. Okay, so again, the only time I've seen you use the attack map is when you went to, like here. I can see you're getting more and more frustrated. You've actually gone to the stats instead of looking at the attack map. You're worried about how you're doing rather than getting the information on the team. Again, it takes just as long, okay? And what's happening here, when you're running in, you're looking at the scoreboard. I'm not 100% why you're looking at the scoreboard. Doesn't really matter. But you've just seen an enemy die here, or you've missed an enemy die here because you're looking at these kills. And as a result, you're completely unaware of the enemy who's literally lurking around this corner. The game is not over till it's over. I've seen absolutely unreal comebacks, especially on maps like Karachi. If you'd have looked at the tap map instead of looking at the scoreboard and really doubting your players or doubting your team, you'd have probably been able to get that kill and won the rotation for the squad. It's easier done than said. It's easier said than done. But you know what? You got so far with a really even scoreline. There's no reason you can't, get back to that situation. You're only 50 points behind, or you were only 50 points behind. You just seen the shadow. Great kill. Play your life. Stun and a nade. Stun and a nade. You just meleeed your own trophy. Stun and a nade. You know where they're coming. They're coming from over the wall. Deter them. Nice. Stun. Nade. Perfect. We'll use them eventually. Right, I want to see every single one of your teammates rotating. Yeah, I want to. This should be an absolute beeline to the new hill. Go, go, go! Support your teammates. They're going to be coming from bridge. We've given up a lot of map control here. It's further right, behind the car. That's them. Any kills you get, you want to be able to get to the hill in 8 seconds because they've got 8 seconds left of dead time. 6 seconds now. So even if you get this player off the hill, you need to then step on it yourself with 6 seconds and leave yourself enough time then to get to the new hill while still being on the old hill, because there's only 6 seconds left of dead time. Or contest time. Okay, not bad gameplay. You went positive. You got a decent amount of hill time as well. The only thing I'm seeing from your stats... I can't even see your stats. Do you go over them again? I'm sure I'll show your stats a second here. Do you show the stats at the end? No. Okay. So... Okay, so your stats, let's have a little bit of a look here. So you've done pretty well. you've dealt less damage than you've taken, but you've gone positive. So that shows you're pretty good at playing your life. So that's a plus. Headshot percentage is quite low, which means you're rarely going to be full bulleting people, which means that when you get up to like Crimson Iridescence, a lot of the times they can full bullet you because they just get more headshots. But I think your accuracy was generally off this game. A 27.5 or 20, nearly 28, let's say, percent accuracy isn't the best. I usually aim for high 30, like another 10% on top of that. And I'd recommend anyone, if you need to be over 30, mid 30s is probably the sweet spot, with some pre-shooting in there and whatnot. So your accuracy, I'm not sure if you warmed up before this game, but there were potential gunfights you could have won with a little bit of a warm-up or some better accuracy there. So maybe have a little tinker with the settings, but you know, your accuracy here should be better. If you know you're consistently getting 27, 28, 29, below 30% accuracy, change something, okay? Whether it's your settings in game or your dead zones or something like that, something's a little bit off there if you're not getting at least 30% accuracy. Okay, let's do a little bit of a review, a little bit of a conclusion. So, two main things I want to try and get you to do by habit. Now, I know there was a little bit of frustration in this video because I could just tell, but when you are in the game, watch your kill cams. You have a 2.5 second spawn delay, so skipping your kill cams is not going to make you spawn in any quicker. You may as well take that time just to see what the enemy's doing, see where their route's taking them, and see where the enemies are. So, first of all, you're going to see what route the enemy that you've just killed, that's just killed you, is going to take, and it'll give you an idea of where they're going to be running next. And second of all, it's going to tell you where the enemies on their team are set, and therefore you're going to be exactly aware of where they're going to be when you come off the spawn next time. So that's some huge bit of information there for free you're not getting, and it's the easiest amount of information you can possibly get. Secondly, leaning into this, I've said this a lot, you really want to use your attack map, especially if teammates are dying, you're not quite sure where they're dying from. You really need to know exactly where your teammates are, sort of, in a roundabout way at all times to tell you where the enemies are coming from. You're never going to be able to read spawns, even using the spawn guides I gave at the beginning of the year. Even if you had those spawn guides, you knew them down to a T. If you don't know where your teammates are in that situation, you're still not going to be able to read spawns. So even if your spawn knowledge is up to top, you still need to use that attack map to get an overview of where your teammates are to know where the enemy's going to be spawning, therefore where you're going to be spawning as well. So yeah, use your attack map, watch the kill cams, and that's going to be two massive ways you can easily increase your map awareness. And then last thing I want to say is you need to try and review some spawn guides again. I don't know whether you've watched them before, or what I'll do, I'll leave a link to them in the description, but there's some guides that give an overview top-down layout of the map and tell you on certain hills on hardpoint where the two spawns are, where things are going to be spawning, because it will give you a little bit of awareness. For example, when you were on P5, your teammate spawned all the way out behind P2. That would have told you that an enemy was coming from red, and that would have made that enemy there actually got a 2-piece, if I remember correctly, and broke the P5 hold. That could have been the difference maker. You reading a player pushing through P5 could have won you the game. So yeah, I'd just recommend running over my spawn guides again. If you want a link to them, let me know down in the comments and I can, send them all out. And the best way to get hold of all of them is to join my Disc, which is linked in the description. Go to the spawn guide channel, and they're all in there in a PDF that you can have a look on your phone as you're playing, or on your second monitor as you're playing, and it will really help you out just reading the map a little bit better, because you know where they're going to be spawning. But as I say, you're not going to be able to do that without using the tap map and without using the kill cams to get you the free information you have provided for you really easily. So yeah, now it's on to where I think you could potentially be. Now, 40 hours, I don't want to be too critical, but 40 hours, Diamond 1, there's obviously a lot. I don't know whether you're rushing into games and not warming up properly, but competing against Crim players with 27, 28% accuracy is going to be difficult. You're going to be losing gunfights. But I think if we sharpen up your accuracy a little bit, if you learn the spawns as much as you can, and you get the map awareness from your kill cams and your attack map, you're gonna get to Crimson. You're gonna get Crimson 1. I don't think we're gonna get higher yet. I haven't seen enough gameplay of yours, but Crimson 1 I feel like you can get. It's attainable. Just need to fix up a couple of things, and I think you'll do great. Gotta be honest. Yeah, there's so many things you did well. in this gameplay. You like clearing areas and taking routes on some hills were really, really good. A little bit more consistent, and then cover those 4 things, as I said, and you'll be great. You'll be a shooter. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it found it useful, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao for now.